First of all, it's one of the worst scandals to ever hit the NHS. Up to 30,000 people across the UK were given infected blood during the 1970s and 1980s. And many have either died or suffered from lifelong illness as a result. This month, an inquiry has heard from Scottish victims. Here's Georgie Keat with a look at how long it took to get here and some of the inquiry's powerful testimony.
It is estimated 3,000 people in Scotland were infected with blood contaminated with hepatitis C and HIV in the 1970s and 80s. For decades, campaigners have tried to seek justice. In 2008, the then Scottish Health Secretary, Nicola Sturgeon, announced the Penrose Inquiry. But despite the 6 years and 12 million spent, the report in 2015 was denounced as a whitewash by victims. Eventually, in 2017, Theresa May ordered a UK inquiry into the scandal. This time, it would have the powers to investigate whether the authorities embarked on a full-scale cover-up. But first, it called victims and their families to give evidence. Here are some of their stories.
On Mother's Day, I think it was about 3 years ago, I just thought, I can't go on with my life. And my mum left me messages because I was going to take my own life. So my mum kept phoning and saying, please don't do anything silly.
I look perfectly healthy. People say you look so well. But the fatigue and the exhaustion and the time that I devote to this story can be completely overwhelming.
I called the paramedics and they came round. Resuscitated him, actually gave him drips and so on, and then we had to go to Liverpool in the ambulance, and he stayed in Liverpool there until he died at the end of that month.
And how old was Alistair?
22.
I remember going up to school thinking, what's the point? I don't need to try for exams anymore because I'm going to be dead in a few years.
I have later described as being basically told I was either a junkie or a prostitute. There was never any mention that, and there has never been to this day, any direct mention to me that it could have been from my first childbirth.
When the horrors began to unfold, there was widespread fear of how bad this might prove to be. This led to a coalition of secrecy, I think, involving government departments, health service officials, and indeed medical professionals.
Both my mum and my sister have attempted to take their lives because of this. It's robbed her of everything. She lives a death sentence every day. And we just thought we waited 14 years that we get the truth and the answers.
The inquiry will continue to hear from victims around the UK before calling the doctors and authorities involved.
I'm actually fairly optimistic this time that this inquiry, instead of having one recommendation, will have many, many recommendations.
Georgie Keat brought us that report there. I suspect we'll have agreement between the two of you on this one. It's absolutely appalling to hear some of the testimony.
It's extraordinary, and I mean a real failure of government and politics at all levels that this has gone on for so long without the spotlight being shone on.
Yeah, it's absolutely gut-wrenching, and I think I agree with Peter. And I think worse, almost worse than the use of infected blood in these circumstances has been the failure to front up to that mistake, and the failure to bring justice to these families.